Hey, Scooch-on.
Oh, what's going on, guys? You're here for the All About the Experience podcast, number 10.
Number 10.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce who's going to be on tonight?
So we're going to have Ty Torgerson on first. That's Built to Beat Race Series. Then that is going to be followed by Nate and Mandy Benson. Benson Bog Days. Like the shirt. We got one intro.
We got one intro tonight. Being that the video I had made for Bensons actually has Built to Beat in it, we're just going to play the one intro. And Dewey will just switch back in between people. And we're just going to play that here.
I got her. Might have cut that off a little early. Yeah. Ty, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you good.
Perfect.
So,
how's it going tonight?
Oh, it's going really good. I touched a microphone and it broke, so that's why we started a little bit late. But
No problem.
what was that?
Said no problem.
Right on. I'm never on time, so been hanging out with Sloan too long. So let's start out the Built to Beat Race Series. You started that when?
We started it when COVID busted out, so 2020 it started.
Okay.
Now we're up to 7 events this year.
Right on.
It's growing pretty fast.
Yeah, you guys did like a COVID Cup right off the bat, right?
Yep, COVID Cup on Memorial Weekend when everything was shut down. That's kind of what gave us the kickstart.
Right on. And I met you through Benson Bog Days. You came in there. This is your third year?
Fourth year I've been up
Fourth
there.
year. Man, it's been a while.
Third year that we've been running the racing, but fourth year since I've been up there.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit about them 7 events this year. What you got going on?
So Memorial Weekend, we got a big race at Mavericks up in Baroon, Minnesota. It's a 2-day race event, Saturday, Sunday, $10,000 payout. We're having a Weekend Warrior Award, so those that come out and participate in the radar runs, the Built to Beat race, and the freestyle will all be scored in those 3 events to win a cash prize and a big trophy on top of all the other events going on that weekend. And then after that, it is Benson Bog Days, the last weekend of June.
Yep.
Pretty excited with that. They got Mandy actually said they bumped up the payouts up there too, so they're hitting hard this year. They got the biggest payout on the schedule as of right now, unless something changes.
We're kind of notorious for that in Cohasset.
Yeah, they like to give back to the racers and the drivers and everybody that goes up there and supports them. They're great.
You know, the way we see it, we're kind of the farthest one away. If you don't pay out something good, you might, miss a couple drivers, and we want everybody to come have fun.
Yeah, and with the way the schedule's working out this year, I think Benson's going to be a hit because we're only allowed to drop one race in the points race, or one event for the points race.
Yeah.
So you get a long season with 7 races going on, and Memorial Weekend there's a little overlapping on the schedule. So pretty much everyone's going to have to be at Benson if they want to go for the season points.
Cool. Where do you go from there?
After that, we're headed up to the Brainerd Villager Fair.
Okay.
That's July 15th, I believe. And then following that up, we're back to Mavericks on April 4th or August 4th or August 5th that weekend. And then after that, we have Howie's Mud Bog Labor Day weekend. That's a big event, probably the biggest event in the state, potentially the Midwest, the surrounding 5 states. They got a huge track up there. It's definitely the longest, biggest track in the north, hands down, potentially the biggest track in the country. And they got some new revamp going on with their venue. They're doing a whole new freestyle pit, new tug pads. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a show. It's their 30th anniversary this year, so they're going big and going home.
Right on.
And then to follow that up, we had the North Country Shootout, which is just here in Cambridge, hosted in my backyard. That's September 24th. And then to end the season out, we're back up to Mavericks, second weekend of October.
Sweet. That's a pretty busy schedule for you guys too.
Yeah, definitely busy. And then we got some, out of state races that we're doing, on a personal level, not a race circuit, but so I think I'm personally booked for 12 weekends this summer.
Right on. We just threw kind of what our schedule is together. Threw it up on our Facebook page, and I messaged Sloan and I'm like, dude, we've got like 43 events this year.
Right? Gets to be a handful.
We talked about doing 2 crews. We've got several weekends where we're booked up with 2 crews. We ended up open for your first event as well this year. So I talked with Sloan, and we're going to take you up on that. So we're going to come do some video, get some pictures for you guys. Have a good time with you guys at Mavericks.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We'd be happy to have you. I mean, it's a good event. Brings a lot of out-of-state trucks, some new competition, guys that you don't typically see on a weekend basis racing here during the majority of the summer. So that's kind of cool. You get to do some different trucks.
Well, and that's like a whole weekend that's not just mud trucks. It's mud trucks, it's 4-wheelers, it's radar run. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on there.
Oh, yeah, they have ATV pits. They put in a couple ATV trails. They have ATV events, mud racing for ATVs, radar runs, and then they're doing a King of the Pit for the ATVs. They have drone races this year. They have their own area just for youth kids to ride their ATVs and play in the mud, so they don't have to worry about adults in the bigger machines and whatnot. They got their own little gated off area fenced in that they can ride their 4-wheelers all day long.
Sweet.
It's a big family event.
Oh, that's awesome. So you didn't get into this racing thing. You were a mud guy originally, correct?
Yeah, that's where the roots started.
Yeah. We all kind of started out in the mud just playing around, I think.
It's definitely it's good to get back to the mud every once in a while too.
I haven't made the jump. I've been working on this Jeep. I've been working on this Jeep for way too long, and everybody's like, "Well, you're gonna race it. You're gonna race it." And I'm like, I haven't even really mudded it yet, so I haven't got near that far yet. I'm just kind of the dumb guy that plays in the mud, but that's kind of where my roots are, so that's where I stay. But I still have fun.
Fair enough. Racing just puts a little more of a competitive edge to it, makes it a little more interesting. Definitely pushes the guys to push their builds a little bit further every year and kind of give it their all. A little more rollovers, and people tend to push their equipment and their personal comfort zone while they're driving. If you put a little money on the line and a little bit of smack talk.
Sure. I liked following you guys last year, the commentary that came along with it. I know you guys are all friends. Everybody in the general public pretty much knows you're all friends. But boy, the smack talk, it got good for a while there last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that too. For somebody that's brand new to this, that understand what you guys do, never been to an obstacle course race, can you give them kind of a rundown? I know you have your home track, you run side by side, 2 at a time. Now at Bensons, we just run time on a timer, but run through that, kind of explain how that race works.
Yeah, so up at Benson Bog Days, the track layout, it's an awesome track. Big jumps, lots of mud, but there's not enough room to race heads up. So we do a time trial. So every driver gets the option to make 3 passes. They're mandatory to make 2. So they're going to go out, they're going to put up, the lap the first time and score a time, go out the second time, put up another time, and the combined score, the combined time for both passes is their scoring pass. And then if they choose to, they can make a third pass to better their time. We have 5 classes this year. Things changed up a little bit. So we got a class for everybody from your street stock, borrowed your father-in-law's pickup truck for the weekend and you want to take it out for a good time. We got a class for you all the way up to the guys that are pushing 2,200 horsepower on, 4-link mega trucks.
Nice. So which is Benson's the only one that runs just a single pass? Everything else is heads up?
Everything else in our race circuits pretty much heads up. There is a couple events that we race heads up, but it's still a timed event. Okay. So you'll make a pass in the right lane, you make a pass in the left lane against the same opponent, and then you have an option to better one of your lanes. So in those events, one of your first passes stick. So okay. you only get to make 3 passes to better your time. But even all the other events that are ran off of a time, they're still heads up. So there's 2 trucks racing against each other on the same track, same level playing field. I know that
from a spectator standpoint, it seems like them guys are pushing it just a little bit hard. I got to get that one wheel in front of the next guy. It seems like them guys are going a little faster.
Yeah, if you throw a guy that you're racing up against, you're going to push it a little bit more because if you lose, everyone's going to see it. So
right,
yeah.
I wish we had a bigger track, kind of, but fun in Benson's too.
Benson was the origin of the big berm. If you go out to my house now, we got big berms. We got berms out at Howie's. Slowly getting some berms going on at Mavericks, and Nate Benson was the first one to ever do that here in Minnesota. So we owe him something.
Oh yeah, I might have been out there a few weekends when we were trying to figure out how big that berm was. There's some Wayzata dirt track racing that comes behind that. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, there's
at one point in time when we were building that, Nate and I were talking about it, and I was like, I ain't afraid to put a fender on you, bro. We were going to race them side by side on that berm.
Right. So, yeah, I think Nate and Mandy Benson are also bringing a new event that's going to be first time this year, a freestyle event. So after the racing on Saturday, racing starts at 5 at Benson Bog Days. So directly after the racing, we're going to roll right into the freestyle. That'll allow some of our staff to gather up all the information on who won the race. So anybody that wants to participate in the freestyle, normally that's a pretty good show, and you just get a lineup of the big bad trucks that are going to go out there and rip up the mud hole for the remaining part of the day.
Sweet, that should be fun.
Should be a good show.
I know we sponsored the trophy for King of the Pit for the weekend.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
We got that going on too. That's kind of our brainchild a couple of years in a row now, where if we can get them boggers that are consistently going on there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we wanted to give back to them guys too. If they're going out and playing and breaking something, fixing it, and getting back out there and playing some more, I think that guy deserves to have a little recognition too. So.
Oh, definitely. To me, if a guy wins the King of the Pit or like the Weekend Warrior Award out at Mavericks, I mean, that's the ultimate badass. That's the guy that's going out, like you said, beating on your machine for the whole weekend, putting on a show for the crowds, for the friends, for the family. That guy is the one with the biggest heart out there.
Oh yeah. So let's get back to this. Like when you started mudding, you didn't have this chaos truck. I don't know if these guys know it or not, but you also race in your series with that chaos truck. You started with something
Yep.
totally different, right?
Yes, sir. Started out with a K5 Blazer. When I first bought it, it didn't run, didn't have a steering column. Eventually, it worked its way into a 2.5 ton leaf spring truck, just a straight up bog truck. It's called the Panty Dropper.
Right on.
It's still around. We still take it out. It's a good time. It's something fun and a little less expensive to take out and beat on for the weekend.
Right. I know you guys. All of those big trucks, all the race trucks. You got tons of time. You got tons of money. You got tons of technology that's always changing in them things. That's probably why I don't race because I just have like the poochiest thing out there. But to be able to go out and just play in the mud, that's where we all started, and I think that's something that we all try to showcase in one way, shape, or form. The racing's awesome. There's just not a lot of us that can put the time, the money, the technology together and be competitive. So kudos to you guys for having them big badass trucks for us to watch. Unfortunately, some little guy like me, I'm probably never going to get in one.
But you don't have to have the biggest, baddest truck out there to go out there and have a good time. You're going to have just as much fun out there as I am for the Benson Bog Days weekend, if not a little bit more, because you'll probably take it out a little more often than I take my truck out. Don't have to sink a bunch of time. That's the great thing about the sport of mudding is the family, the friends, the relationships that you grow. Going to each event, seeing the same people. Everyone's always stand up, down to earth, good people, and you can get away with buying a truck from the scrapyard or going to a junkyard and putting 33s on it and have just as much fun as the guy that's got $100,000 into his big fancy truck that takes it out 2 or 3 times over the weekend.
And I think with your classes changing this year, you're kind of catering to that the low budget truck too with where your class is set now, right?
Yeah, definitely something that we're pushing for is to see a lot more of the stock trucks, like the bone stock street trucks, the old half tons or your grandpa's old farm truck, something that has been sitting in the weeds, but it runs, drives. You can bring that out as long as it's got box sides on it or a flatbed or it's street legal. Open for the stock class, so it has to be smaller than a 3 or a 6-inch lift kit and no bigger than 38-inch tire. So
And those are DOT tires in that class.
Yep, DOT tires, and they can't be cut. They have to be stock, uncut DOT tires. And then if you want to go to the modified class, then that's where we allow you to cut your tires, and you can do axle swaps, you can do motor swaps. For the guys that are into the bogging and they've done some upgrades, it's the fancier the bog style, so they got a small block 350 in their Jeep, for mudding and whatnot. We have a modified stock class for those guys to, so they're racing against people that have similar builds, just to prevent shying away, some of the guys that potentially would race if they thought they were going to be competitive.
I feel like that statement was a dig on me, or maybe a poke at me. I happen to have a pretty badass small block ready for mine now. I fall into a weird category. I got 1-ton axles, half-ton frame, 4-linked rear, tractor tires. I'm a 1-ton guy if I fall into your rules.
Right.
But even that class, I mean, you don't have to have a ton of money or a ton of horsepower to be in it.
No, definitely not. I mean, some of our top competitors in the 1-ton class are just running 5.3 LS motors. I know Jackson Fontaine's got a 6.0 LS motor. Even Crude's purple truck, I think that thing's only got like little 450 horse somewheres in there.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's some good ponies, but it ain't anything super spectacular.
No, just talking with these guys with the big trucks, we went over and talked with Jared Wiggum when he got the wrap on that obnoxious truck. And I know when he unveiled it the very first time, it was like 900 and change, and we all thought that was crazy horsepower. And he's like, "Yeah, I think he's at 1490 or something now." And I'm like, "Jesus, that's some ponies."
Yeah. And that thing is obnoxiously loud. That's probably my favorite sounding truck out there from Minnesota.
I dig it. Sloan always says when he's doing video, he'll be uploading one, he'll have one going on a different screen, and he doesn't even have to look over at that screen when he hears him hit that giggle pedal. He automatically knows, oh, that's the obnoxious clip.
Right?
And we listen to
Jared,
Go ahead.
Jared's an awesome dude. That new wrap on his truck looks pretty sweet. I was looking forward to talking to you tonight so I can get it publicly announced that so last year when me and Jared were racing, we went back and back for most of the summer, but at the last event that we raced against each other in, we had a little side bet going on in the pits, and he ended up edging me and beating me by 0.1 tenth of a second. So I guess this is me saying that Jared Wiggum, if you want, we got $500 bet that I come beat you on your own turf up there at Benson Bog Days, your track.
Ooh,
If he wants to bet, I'm calling him out right now.
nice. I'll make sure somebody gets him tagged in this so he can hear that for sure. Now we did talk. He put a different cab on because he had that old crinkled one.
Yep.
You did a flippy last year and destroyed a body too, right?
Yes, sir. It's currently sitting in the corner of the shop right now in about 8 pieces.
Yeah. So you got a brand new body then this year too?
Nope. We're on the budget build this winter, so we're just gonna fiberglass it back together and call her a day.
Heck
Hopefully
yeah.
she holds up and stays off its lid for summer.
Yeah. I don't know. Was the competition in that class? I hate to say it. I know you guys are very safe, but still, when you see that roll over, your heart skips that one skip. Like the first thing I think every time is, man, I know these guys. Are you okay? And you do. You build safe stuff. You got a safe crew. You guys know what you're doing if somebody does put it on its lid. But there's always that one split second where you're like, wow, was he okay?
That's the exciting part. Normally, the guy that wrecks his truck, unfortunately, might cost him a little bit of money, but he definitely will win the show with a rollover.
Yeah.
The crowd tends to like that a little bit.
Look at that. Mandy's watching. She just tagged Jared. We'll see if we can get him in the chat.
Get him on. $500. I'll bring cash.
Cash money, $500.
Yep, take him down on his own track. For those that haven't been to Benson Bog Days, Jared Wiggum's got that track down to a T. I mean, he is a fast dude on that track. He's spot on. So, $500 that I come beat him on his own turf.
Wow, that's putting it out there. That's saying something. The thing I find out about it, Nathan and I joke back and forth. If I do something to my truck and I think I can make it run for more than 10 minutes, I'm like, should I come down and do test hits? I have never once seen Jared there before an event. He's just that good when he gets there. He can read it. He can run it. It's phenomenal to watch him.
Yeah, he's a madman behind the wheel of that thing. Obnoxious is that's a bad truck right there. And
Yeah,
we got Mike Schaffner's coming out with a brand new build. He'll be up at Benson Bog Days in summer. It's just under 2,200 horse.
That's the heathen truck.
The new heathen truck. That thing's gonna be dirty. He'll put on a show for the crowd.
Here, you got your response. I'll put her up on the screen for you. That's Jared saying, sounds like easy money.
Oh boy. Perfect.
Heck yeah.
So, can I borrow $500 from you then, Dwayne?
I got like $1.40.
Perfect.
We put all our money in the gas tank and try to go around and get all these events that we possibly can all summer. Last year we did one UMMRA event, and then Bensons. And I'm a mud guy. I got to go around and see a bunch of derby. Got to see some autocross racing, some Baja racing, some bush racing, and that's all stuff that I hadn't been around in 20 years. But I wanted to get back to the mud, and I wanted to be able to showcase that. So, I I personally talk with Sloan, and I'm like, I'm gonna talk to some of my friends, see if we can't get some more footage of you guys doing what you do, and try to build this community of motorsports in Minnesota with everybody, with all of us rednecks.
Right, that would be awesome. We'd definitely appreciate it. And the more film, the more exposure that we can get out there, the more people show up, and the more the sport will grow. We'll have more people making more trucks. I mean, that was an exciting thing this year. Just last year, I think there was 5 or 6 brand new builds roll out of the garage. I know this year there's at least 4, if not 5, rolling out of the garage just on Memorial Weekend alone.
Nice.
I was talking to Tony Sell about a week and a half ago, and he thinks that his new truck's going to be ready for Benson Bog Days. That's his goal. So that'll be cool. It's definitely gaining momentum, and a lot of people starting to come join in on the fun.
Sweet. I don't even know how to say this. At one point, I used to run like a $300 truck, and I'd put some crappy old tires on it, and I'd go out and I'd wreck it every single time I went out. And now I just started putting money in this truck, and it's been like 6 years worth of a headache. I bought somebody else's junk. Had a real smart friend of mine working on it with me, and I still haven't got it right. And I kind of wish I would have went back to that $400 truck with $1,000 set of tires. I think that's the class to be in for a guy like me. And now with the way you have that bone stock class there, that class should be huge for Cohasset, I think. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago. I believe it was one of the Coolmans that was racing that burgundy straight cab long box Chev,
Yep.
late 90s. That guy was cooking in his stock truck. I mean, I've never seen a bone stock street truck catch so much air in my entire life. And he was just full sending it the whole way across that truck.
But if you remember right, that one Sunday Fun Day, I think that was 2 years ago. Everybody was cleaning up, and I was running around that little Envoy. I used it all weekend to haul the DJ equipment and everything. And the kids that come and camp at my camp, they all wanted to go for a ride around the track. So Nathan says, well, you're going to go slow, right? And I said, yep. And we made the first pass, and Bill, he was stopwatching me on his phone, and he says, geez, that's almost as fast as the slowest stock guy was yesterday in the race. Are you sure you're going slow? Well, pretty soon all the kids got out of that Envoy, and me and my better half, we started beating on it a little bit. And come to find out, a stock Envoy with just all-terrain tires, missing one coil pack, running on 5, I was still only like 0.8 of a second below the guys that were actually going out there competing. So I thought that was pretty impressive for me.
Definitely impressive. It sounds like you're talking yourself into coming out and racing this year.
I'm not gonna say I won't.
I'll take that as an answer.
I have the opportunity this year to do something that Sloan and I'd been trying to achieve for the better part of last year, and that's to live broadcast your race at Bensons. And I'm going to get to do the commentary on it. There might be a point in time where I can throw Nathan Benson himself in front of the camera, and he can commentate his buddy do go rip around that track maybe. So you never know what'll happen.
Sounds like a plan. I heard I think Mandy was going to come out and start racing again this year too.
Boy, I hope so.
Finally getting the itch to come back and hit the track, it sounds like.
Well, they're both on here right after you, so now I got some questions to feed them.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get both of them out. I think Nate took fourth last year,
Yep.
but if I recall correctly, Mandy said that she was going to race again this year. She was had the itch again, and she was ready to hit the track.
Heck yeah. I think Nate ran 1-ton class too, huh? With the
Yep,
buggy.
Nate ran 110 class.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, so that's another reason
yeah.
why I don't want to bring my Jeep into that, because that kid's nuts.
Yeah, but could you imagine the bragging rights over your best buddy and how you beat him on his own track at his own event?
That would be fun,
I mean, you can hang that over his head every year at Christmas.
right? No, that would probably be something. I gotta commentate it. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. You never know. We got time still. Maybe a Sunday morning grudge match or something. Oh, let's see what our comments are. We got Jared back on here. He says, lots of fun racing, Ty. His truck is badass, and he's a great guy as well. So
That's cool.
he's still going to take your $500, like he said before, but at least he's giving you props.
I don't think so. I'm going to come home 500 quicker.
Nice. That would be nice. Gas money.
Maybe we can go out to dinner after on Jared's dollar.
That'd be cool. I'm down for that.
I think so.
No offense, bud. I'm Team Jared. I'm just going to say
That's
that.
all right. Everyone's got to be the crowd favorite, and Wiggum's definitely the crowd favorite up there at Benson.
Oh, for
Hands
sure.
down. He's a great dude. He deserves it. His truck's fast.
Yeah.
Awesome guy.
And when I did the interview with him, we were talking about, that truck is a multi-purpose truck. And he wants to do some fun stuff with it this year. And I think, just by what he said in the interview, I'm going to go on a limb here and say we'll probably see him in that freestyle too.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. Maybe we'll have to put a little wager on the freestyle event too then. If he's so confident and beat me in racing, maybe I'll have to do double or nothing in the freestyle to get my money back.
Well, something. You never know what'll happen at Benson's.
Yeah,
So let's-
my truck currently cut apart right now. There's no shocks on it, no nothing. There's not even shock mounts on it right now.
Huh. Well, you got time. Your first event isn't till end of May.
Yeah, six weeks I think we got.
Right
It'd
on.
be nice to have one weekend of test pass before Memorial Weekend.
Yeah. Well, and you have the luxury of the track right in your backyard, so you should have some test and tune time, right?
Yeah, might be able to find some, but I'm kind of the same way as Wiggum. I mean, I think part of the reason why some of us aren't out there practicing every day is because it gets a little spendy to go out there and just practice.
Right. It isn't if you're in that stock truck class, though.
Normally we're pretty.
No, you were saying something? Did we get you froze? What do we got here? I think we have Ty froze right now. I think so. Yep, he just backed out. Let's see if we can get him to rejoin. Go back to here. Well, we might have lost Ty before he was done saying everything he had to do. We are at that 34-minute mark. Let me see if I can get a hold of Mandy here. I just made sure that Ty got a refreshed one. Figures. My first one I'm doing alone, and here I sit staring at a screen. No worries. We'll get her.
You can always play the ad.
Mandy just messaged me. They are trying to figure this out. We got somebody with loud pipes rapping by. Let's show some mud bogging here while I figure this out. There we go. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Sweet. So, Nathan Benson, Mandy Benson, Benson Bog Days. I don't know if you were watching earlier. Ty and I were kind of talking about what you guys got going on there. Give us a shout. Tell us what you got, what weekend it is, what events you're doing this year.
So BBD 23 is June 23rd through the 25th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to do the Built to Beat time trial as we have the past couple years. We have the Children's Dash for Cash like we always do. We have open pit Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This year, the pit will close from 11 to 12 on Saturday for the Dash for Cash, and then again at 5 for the Built to Beat time trial, and then for freestyle. Otherwise, all day Friday, all day Sunday is open pit.
Nice. So I just popped it up on here. I'll pop it on again. Our buddy Kevin just says, I know them. I'm famous.
Yeah, they came for the tacos and never left.
Nice. Nice. So, backstory of this for everybody that doesn't know. I've been friends with you, Nate, for seems like forever.
Yeah.
Right. We don't admit that all the time, but you know, we're Cohasset
Since
kids.
the beginning of time.
Right. But backstory of this, where did it come from? What got you started in the mud event world, and what got you here?
When we were younger, we'd always get in trouble, I guess, on snowmobile trails and logging roads and stuff like that. And I had a crazy idea. I said, hell, let's just this part of it. Safe. We can't really get in trouble back there. The Kansas cops can't enter the property. And that was kind of the beginning of my high school graduation party. And then it just kind of grew. You know, I had a good friend, Jeremy Topper, that kind of poked me in the ribs a little bit, tell me, hey, this is kind of cool. We should make this bigger. And it's grown considerably since a farm haul tractor, a couple 16-gallon kegs, and some good old boys with some stock trucks.
Right. The joke around there when we were kids was always, remember, you got to drive that to school on Monday. Stuff got bigger.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I don't even know how to do this. We talk all the time, so it's tough to get questions that maybe the general public wouldn't know. From tapping kegs to the family-friendly event that you have now, what's been your biggest motivation? What got you guys here to this spectacular thing that we call Benson Bog Days, which is like the biggest, coolest thing that happens in Cohasset ever? What motivated you to get there besides Topper giving you a ribbon?
I would say just bringing something to northern Minnesota that nobody's ever seen, you know. And one of the biggest stepping stones was having the community support. You know, the city of Cohasset, they're all for it, and that really motivated us to step in a bigger, better direction. But pretty much bringing something to northern Minnesota that nobody's ever seen.
Right.
You know, we got the southern part of the states, which has the more of the population, a little bit more diversified down south. So you got Howie's, it was Chad's Ranch, Mudfest, and they bring in the bigger crowds because they have the bigger population. I'm pretty comfortable staying where we're at, growing a little bit more, but it's amazing that we can bring, you know, those drivers, the mudders, the people from down south, and they still travel this far north, you know.
Well, I know Ty touched on it a little bit, but he said that he was talking with Mandy, and payouts are getting bigger this year.
Yep.
That
So
helps.
I just started, Siri and I started stomping the streets on Monday. I stopped at approximately 15 to 18 businesses. I just wanted to give a shout out because of already we have Napa, Grand Rapids Loan, Radco Iron and Supply from Hibbing, SNS Meats, GIS, and Ray's already locked in within 72 hours of sponsorship packets getting dropped off. So
Nice.
thanks to all those guys and all of our sponsors for that matter. We have a lot of reoccurring people that may think we're crazy, but they still support what we do. So
Think we're crazy?
yeah. The locals know. Others may think.
Right. So Mama Patty's on here, and she says, the best weekend ever. Last weekend in June, Benson Bog Days.
Thanks, Mama.
No, great times. I've been involved with the event in one way, shape, or form, from helping them kids do keg stands way back in the day to, let's see, I've been security, I've been a DJ, I've built some fence there. God, what else?
Race
I've done quite a bit.
announcer.
Had your hands in pretty much every aspect of the mud pit.
Yeah. I
know.
can find the good mud between my toes just about anywhere out there.
Yeah.
So I've been involved in it for quite a while, and I know the experience for me has been great. I love watching you guys grow every year. I'm proud to be part of the staff, even if I'm just a goofy guy that's yelling on a microphone or whatever. But it's always a good time. It's always a family-friendly. I hate this thing. A family-friendly event. I've been to quite a few mud bogs, and I don't see per capita, I don't see the kids nearly as much at some of these other ones. It really is like a big weekend camping, whole family, great time.
We party a little bit, you know, nothing too crazy, but I remember, you know, some of my first mud bogs. I think it was Farmers Day in Bowie.
Yep.
One of the first ones I ever seen, and I mean, I wasn't very old, and I can still remember that mud bog. So if I can
Absolutely.
instill that in any little kid out there that can, you know, come out, hang out, get muddy. I mean, last year was the first. I mean, we had some kids bringing out some weird trucks last year that were just thrown together out of absolutely nothing, and they had a blast.
I hate it.
Right on.
You know, and that's kind of what it's all about. From the smallest trucks having a great time to the biggest trucks out there with, like you said, 2,000 horse, and they're willing to work on each other's trucks, and that's what it's about. It's you know, it may be a competition, but it's a huge family.
Mhm.
I think we lost audio there. Say something.
Can you hear us now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Good.
Yeah, that very last, the end of it there, Nate, that kind of wobbled a little bit, but that might be.
I kind of
online
watched my video, and it's delayed a little bit on the computer, so
Yep.
it's kind of throwing me off a little bit here.
You're not
Did you see
listening
when you
through this
spoke for
thing.
a minute?
I hear
You were
myself
like,
twice before you guys respond. It's weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're supposed to say anything or not about this, but Sloan and I put our heads together. Now, last year we did the September Fest. I haven't even talked to you guys this year to see if we're going to plan on throwing that or not. But last year, I pitched in, and we got ourselves a big old fancy belt. And I talked to Sloan this year. We decided we're going to do it again for King of the Pit. So I don't know if if I'm supposed to let that out of the bag or not, but I just did.
Yep, no, that's totally fine. We'll also have the other one's for King of the Pit, right, Duo?
One's King of the Pit, one's freestyle.
Freestyle.
Yep.
The
Yep.
one I picked out is freestyle.
Yep. That's. I got a surprise for you. I got a rundown. I didn't bring it with, but something came in the mail yesterday. Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
And
So I think we're good on the freestyle one.
Cool.
Dewey's seen he bought the belt last year, and when I seen it at it was a little bit after September Fest that Kevin got the belt.
Yep.
These belts are not like a little piece of plastic. They're like 15 pounds of gold plated steel, awesome leather. Like I would wear it out on the town for the night,
Right.
if I wanted.
It's worth the race,
16.6 pounds. It makes you feel like Ric Flair when you put it on your shoulder. It's pretty BA. Oh, and Kev says, "Oh, you mean my belt?"
Yes, honey.
Yeah, your belt.
Yeah, his belt. Mama Patty says, like WWE. I mean, we're kind of like that,
BTB.
right? Let's see. The Kids Dash for Cash. Let's promote that a little bit. Where'd you come up with that idea?
It started out. It was a race for a case.
Yep.
When back in the beginning of the Bog Days, it was a race for a case. We put a case of beer out in the middle of the mud pit. The problem was all the miners were faster than the old guys to get to the case of beer.
Right.
Well, then I had to cut that back, kind of rethink my plan there, and then the dash for cash seemed to be something more fitting. The kids are just staring at the mud pit all day long. They're just waiting. Parents are holding them back, and they want to go swimming and have a good time. So I figured, well, let the kids get dirty and let the parents take care of them.
Kidding. I've been known to be in that Kids Dash for Cash myself, so.
Yeah, I think you did more swimming and helped the bottles float up than anything else in the
Next day is when you belly flopped on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Like
The
5
first
years
year that I
ago?
ended up in it, we were short 4 bottles. So the way this thing goes down is the kids all line up, they do a dance, they run out into the pit, and they're digging on their hands and knees, and they're trying to find these bottles with money in them. And we had a couple little youngsters out there that were pretty bummed out that they couldn't find anything in the mud pit. And I knew we were 4 short. So I went to the one little guy there that was, he was pretty bummed out. And I belly flopped next to him and I said, "You got to go like this." And I was swimming through it. And sure enough, bottle popped up. And he grabbed that and boy, his tone just changed. So I'm always willing to help, the end for the last 4 or 5 bottles. That's always fun for me too. Yeah. That's what I was trying to
So
do.
what we try to do every year is we hide $300 to $400 in 5s and 10s. Usually end up with anywhere from 25 to 35 Gatorade bottles.
Yep.
And while the guys are doing whatever they need to do around the bog, us moms go out there and hide them and then do a dance off. So it's pretty fun to watch them all dance. And then you say 1, 2, 3, go, and it's like a whole bunch of like little frogs hopping in the mud pit. So
No, that's
it's
awesome.
really fun, and it's a great thing for the kids. They love it.
Sorry, we had a
Hi,
little
phone.
bit of charging issue here with our box. We got it under control now. So from the
That's
Kids
redneck.
Dash for Cash, freestyle. We didn't do that necessarily. There's always a free for all after the race. What gave you the idea to evolve that into the freestyle?
But it's really fun to watch. I know that's one of my favorite parts at Howie's. It's just fun. They go out there, they beat the shit out of their truck, and it's fun for them. So we thought that we'd do that, and then see who can go out there and put on the best show, and then show them a little love for it afterwards. So
Right on. That's pretty awesome. And of course, the King of the Pit. We talked about that. I talked with Ty. I kind of explained it then, but that's for this dirt in his beer mud bogger that shows up on Friday. He beats the crap out of his truck. He might have to change a U-joint or something. He's back out there on Saturday. He's whooping it again. Doesn't need to be the biggest truck out there. Doesn't need to be the toughest truck. But that tenacious guy that goes out there and whoops on it for the 3 days that is the glorious Benson Bog Days, I feel honored to be a part of the sponsorship on that one and be able to throw them guys a little love too. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
So that'll be given Sunday at 10. It is something that we have our entire staff kind of watching for. Obviously, Nate and I can't sit and watch the pits all weekend, so all of our staff kind of puts our heads in and watches to see who's out there all the time and, who's having a blast and putting on a show.
Yeah, it usually starts out, Friday. And then, usually around the portable campfire, Friday night, there's some discussion of what we seen and what went on. And did you see that or did you see this? And then Saturday will take off again. And probably Saturday night, same scenario around the portable bonfire. There'll be some more discussion, between the staff member, crowd members, to see who's talking about what truck and everything. And then Sunday will come around, and then it'll kind of come down to a vote. And it'll go through the whole staff, and crowd members are in control of it too. The cheering of the crowd and all that stuff. So it's a 3-day event for that mud bog person. You know what I mean? That guy that's out there giving it, breaking shit, fixing shit, robbing parts off of another broken truck to keep his truck going.
Yeah, there's never none of that going on.
No.
Is there a 10-speed bicycle over?
Oh my God, I remember that. I was like, what does a brake cable look like? It's the cable connected to the brake handle. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's farming parts. There's some farming going on out there every year.
I notice I'm going to have to restock some inventory on some, Chevy running gears and, coil packs and axle parts. I'm getting down there, it's starting to deplete pretty quick. And I'm part of that. I'm not going to lie. I wreck some stuff when I'm there on my truck. So.
Oh yeah, my truck's sitting there with no cooling system in it right now for some reason from last year.
Yeah,
So.
I'm pretty sure that's kind of still on my mind. I've been thinking about it. I owe you a radiator, and I'm not going to give you the one that I filled full of mud last fall. So.
Yeah, it is what it is. As of right now, I'm in the process of elimination. I've got a 5.3. I've got a standalone. It could go in the truck and it'd get me through, but it's not going to be the stroker. So I don't know what I'm doing yet. But I'd really like to get the Jeep out for more than 5 minutes in 6 years.
Yeah, I seen some pictures of it the other day. I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, that thing needs to go.
Right? It was a really great idea the day I pulled it off at Jeremy's trailer and we started saying, cut that off and put this in it like I wanted it. and it's kind of been plaguing me ever since. I was probably better off when I had a beat out of S10, threw some 38s on it, and kicked the crap out of it. But here I am with that yard ornament. I got to do something with that too. So,
Well, you still have the shitty Chevy. I'm waiting for Jamie to race me in the stock class, but I haven't seen it yet.
oh, is that a shout out there? Is that a challenge?
That's a shout out to Jamie Wozniak.
Uh-oh.
Shitty Chevy time.
I know.
This is jumping back in the race seat, so
I know this year I'm going to be a little bit more local with my summer construction gig. And
Right on.
I've been kicking around the idea. It hasn't come into full swing yet, but I would like to recreate the big bank corner on the west side and then make a giant oval track duplicating. So it'd be 4 tabletops, 2 in each lane, and the big corner over the goose pits.
No kidding.
Yeah.
so you'd start like this
You'd start
and then
it.
come around and then finish where your opponent
Yeah.
started.
Yep. Or it would be the fastest person back to break his time, but I don't know if the time barrier system will let us allow to do that.
Yeah.
So you'd
That would be
start
interesting.
like, yeah,
Mhm.
kind of like how the monster trucks race.
Right. Right.
They chase each other from one end to the other.
Huh.
But I think that would be, it'd be a bigger, better racetrack.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not utilizing the start line as much as I probably could there.
Right. I do like the
But-
downhill start. That always turns out sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Except for when you lose brakes.
in the grand scheme of things, I know Nathan and I sat around one night, might have had a beer, and said, God, what if we had a big bank right there? And then that all came about, and that hasn't changed a ton since we started that
No.
adventure.
No.
And the one thing that we always do is we always grow, we always get bigger, better, and badder. So it might be the evolution of the racetrack after this run, huh?
Yeah. I don't like to build a racetrack the spring of racing
No.
because they pound out the faces of the jump. You got to let it freeze, thaw, give it a whole season before you really start racing hard on it. Then it'll stay.
Right.
But if you try to build it that spring, you're going to destroy your track and it's going to become more dangerous than it is safe.
Right. No, I agree 100%.
Like the first year I built that track, we had to reface the jumps, I think, twice.
Yep.
Just because it didn't settle out.
But then that fall run that we had the year before the racetrack was actually complete.
Yep.
That was my son Dylan. He took over the shitty Chev that year, and he jumped the very first jump backwards, and that was pretty exciting. That was fun to see. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In recreating this track, we can have a lot of fun. And I know a guy that has a video camera, so we might even be able to document some of that. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So any other big
Every
things
year-
planned? Before we were planning on good on time. Any big things planned? I know you guys throw this event, but you also usually end up making it to a couple more events every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
You bring the banner with all the sponsors on it. Everybody knows where you're camping. Everybody gets a shout out yet again.
Yep.
What's in the plans this year besides doing your own event?
Ours. I have a wedding to go to on Ty's first race at Mavericks. I won't be able to make that Yeah.
I'll be at Mavericks, handing out some flyers. Not obviously not with my truck, but then we'll do ours and then Howie's for sure. And
Yeah.
I think there's another one at Mavericks possibly,
He's got
Two more.
three.
and then
three there.
and then the shootout, right? Built to Beat shootout.
Yep.
So we're planning on ours and then at least 3 other ones. It's just hard, during the summer, so busy and kids and jobs. But
Tell me about
we're
it.
sure going to try, even if it's just trailering for, one of.
Got the
Yeah,
40
gotcha.
foot gooseneck. I might as well start using it.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Well, if I ever get a Jeep done, I'll take up one of them spots. Um,
Yep.
so I talked with Ty last week. We weren't going to cover any of his races except for yours this year. And it seems like he had a spot for us for Mavericks for their first race. So I talked with Sloan. We're actually going to be there for both days of his racing. And we're going to cover that. We're going to do some video. I'm going to try to get some interviews. We're going to try to drum up a little publicity, see who can't make it all the way up to BBD 23.
There you go.
So I'll probably see you there at some point, Mandy.
Okay.
We're in the points race.
Yeah, we are. We're in the points race as well for Built to Beat. So I
And
think
Ty
that
touched
just
on that a
goes
little
with
bit. He said the way it's going to work this year, they throw one race out. So
Yep.
Yep.
out of the course of the whole 7 events, they're only throwing one race away, which
Yep.
might bring more of them race trucks all the way up here to Cohasset to play.
Yeah, we had talked about that.
Yeah, that'd be good to see.
Yeah.
I know we get a lot of
continually
them.
we're continually growing, you know, and without all you guys, BBD wouldn't happen,
Yeah.
you know.
Spectators, sponsors.
Yeah. Mud family, staff, our staff. Oh my
Yeah.
God, we love all you guys so much.
If the crowd doesn't come, we can't do it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, as much as I'd like to just spend all my money and go play out there all the time, it just doesn't work that way with new regulations and rules and
Right.
permits and all that happy stuff. So, but
That's what
the crowd-
September's for, right?
Yeah. And even then, I got to pull a permit.
Yep.
I
And
can't
insurance.
have any fun without them getting their hands in money.
But that's okay. Cohasset has been trying to push us for the last 3 or 4 years to do 2 events just because the publicity that it brings to the town. You know, everybody loves it. And again, it's just something to do. But they love when BBD happens.
No, absolutely. The evolution of this thing, we used to do at one point in time. Nate wanted to do 3 a year. I think I was a food vendor then, and I was like, "You're crazy. We're gonna do what?"
we did.
We did 2. We always had a
Wasn't
spring and a fall, and then we found out we're waiting until leaves show up. Right? That was why it came to the end of June. We're gonna wait till the leaves show up because we don't want to make the neighbors mad. And then last year I was kind of the guy that pushed pretty hard, so we could do something in September.
Yeah.
And I said it earlier. I haven't even talked to you guys. Are there thoughts of September this year?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
That was probably one of the most fun times I've had mud bogging since I started the BBD, business, I guess, or whatever. Because it was just straight friends, straight bogging, no stress, and destroy your truck. Like mine still has no fenders on it. I think the tire's flat. There's no wood on it. But it made it, But that was some great mud last fall. Right? We didn't pump any water.
No.
And
Everybody got buried.
that was some of the funnest mud I've had out there since,
Definitely not June mud. It's definitely September mud.
Yeah.
And it's
There's something about it, like a lot of these people don't understand. You pull a permit and you pump a ton of water into this thing in the spring. By June, it's settled some, but so you got a layer of water. You usually have some lily pads. Frank the hippopotamus is usually cruising around out there, and
the BBD turtle.
The BBD turtles. And then we throw this redneck party, and everybody comes and they stir up the mud. But fall mud is it's a unique thing. It's it's like it all coagulated all summer long, and it survived through eating on it, and it got a little thicker. And some of the areas where it was pretty tough to get through before, maybe it's not so tough to get through. But then there's that surprise hole that just sunk in there.
Yeah.
I really like the fall mud. I really do. And I didn't get to go out and beat in the fall mud this year. So
Yeah. It was Actually, Mandy pulled my truck out
I sure did.
right before the
I'm
ending
pretty
of
sure I
the.
posted it. I'm almost positive I posted it on Facebook
Yeah.
on all 3 accounts. That is, but I
Uh,
sure did.
Put it
I
this way:
have,
the fall mud, the skidder got stuck.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So
I have photos
that was
of
any-
Mandy pulling you out, by the way, bud.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
just in
I
case you
just
ever
watched
forget.
the video the other day. I was gonna have Kevin jump in and drive Mandy's truck to give me the old full length of jerk to get her out of the hole, but Mandy said, "Oh no, you're not driving my
No,
truck."
Kevin actually walked up to the window of my truck and said, "Your husband told me to drive." I said, "You ain't fucking driving my truck."
Yeah.
He was like, "Okay," and he backed up, and I
Yeah.
told Tanya, I said, "You might want to put your seatbelt on for this," and just gave it to her. It was so fun.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. We had a lot of fun in September. We didn't have a big crowd show up, but
No.
we had the right crowd show up. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we do have the September thing, hopefully get more of the guys that are the diehard mud guys that want to come and play.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
You're not going to do a race, I
Don't
don't
close down
imagine.
the pit for anything. Yeah.
So yeah, that should be something. You know, if we're talking about it now in the spring, everybody watch for September. There might be something, something in the works there.
We kind of kept it a little low key last year. Just later in the summer, we were kind of feeling out the waters. I was trying to, get the city's approval, make sure everything was going to be going okay. And I'm 90% sure there's going to be a September Fest.
Right on.
And if you want to do some grudge match racing, a couple $100, but it would be straight side by side, starting at the start line, throwing some fenders on some trucks. Like I've always wanted to do. That's what's going to happen next fall.
Nice.
Side by side over the tabletops,
Oof.
and
Sounds real dangerous.
fastest into the corners are going to make it around the first. That's the way that's the way it's going to be. No time clocks, just straight pedal fest.
Right
By the way,
on.
we're gonna keep that away from
Get
the
Mandy
insurance
out there to
company.
throw the hat in the air and you hit the giggle pedal
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let her eat. See what happens at the
Yeah.
end. I like it. There's still an
Yeah.
envoy out there, I think, that runs. So
Yeah,
There is.
yes, there is.
I got a couple
So
more
yard
in the
ornament,
yard
right?
too. What's that?
It's a yard ornament.
Yeah,
Right? Hey, I've got a couple at my house too. So I'm just
Yeah.
sharing, homie.
I think if I got rid of a few vehicles out there, I'd have more room for camping. I need those trucks for parts.
We
Right.
could probably build 3 mud trucks out of the vehicles that we had to have. It's a really good deal. It's $2,500. It doesn't run. It's got an extra set of tires, and guess what? He threw in the hood too. Yeah, we got a few of those out at the bog.
Everybody needs parts.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So a recap. Sponsorship you already got going. You have a lot more work to
Yep.
do on that, I'm assuming, Mandy.
Yep. So we did update a little bit. We've had businesses in the past, kind of him and haw. And I know with like COVID, people are starting to get on their feet a little bit more. The county, the state, whatever, the US is starting to open up a little more. I did change them around. So if you've been on the fence about it, or you're still just climbing out from the COVID, I did do a $200 one, and so that.
Yeah, your audio's cutting with that thing hanging there.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. We can
Just
we
gonna-
can always put this in the comments afterwards. Just do a screenshot
Yeah.
of it.
Yep, and I usually try to post it on Facebook a couple times a week with any changes, and then also our flyer. So I will have flyers down at Mavericks as well.
Right on.
I wanted to touch one more thing. So I did a swag store.
Yep.
I did this because it is so hard every single year to stock the apparel tent. I either get way too much or way too little amount in certain sizes. So the swag store, you guys, I wanted to set up so you can get your color, your style, your size. I have a whole bunch of options. All those options will not be under the tent. I'm trying to see what a lot of the favorites are. I will still have anything that's not clothing item as well as apparel. So your koozies, lanyards, stickers, magnets, keychains, all kinds of stuff. All that will be under the tent. We will still have an apparel tent. If you go on and just check it out. I mean, I know for us, we go to Howie's, and by the time we get apparel, camping, fuel, food, booze, it's such an extraordinarily expense. So this way it's like, get your favorite BBD wear, and then that gives you more race fuel money. So when you come, it's not such a hit on the expenses.
And you can custom make what you want. Say they got a certain color hat and you want a different color logo. Mandy can make that happen. Not just what's under the apparel tent. You could custom make your windbreaker or your new hat or whatever you want. So that way the swag store can see it. You can make your order, we can make it, and then have it ready for you.
And when you were asking for input from staff people, I touched on the fact that, for one, it's the fact that you can buy it before, so you have your money for the event, and you can spread out the cost of all that apparel from getting that online. And you just pick that comes right to the apparel tent. When you get there, you got your box of stuff?
Yep, everything will be boxed with a printed packing slip, and your name will just be on the outside of the box. So that saves you on shipping. I was going to do offer shipping, but it's just way too chaotic as it is. And I just think it's easier, like, you get your stuff, you come to the event, you get it out of a box, and you're done,
Right.
But just to clear, like, we will still have an apparel tent with limited apparel items and then all of your non-apparel items.
So what she's saying, everybody, is get your butt onto that swag store.
BBD swag store,
yep. I've got like $340 in the cart right now, and I haven't let Jamie look at it yet. And I'm like, wow, we might as well just make one order. That's honestly, I bought the belt. I spent my wad there. I saved up some more money, and I was like, the swag store should be I should buy this. And then I'm like, I'm going to get yelled at if I don't let her look at stuff. So I'm still in the process. I got to figure out what stuff I have to have. And what stuff I can probably live without. And then see how much extra money I actually have at the day of the event. And go up and see Mama Patty in the apparel tent.
Yep,
and
see Mama Patty in the apparel tent.
And hopefully then, I can spend my extra $160 like I do every year. But
for sure. And I've listened to a lot of input in the past years for the apparel tent, which is why I did the muscle tanks for men. I mean, I've had so many guys be like, where there you go, you had to cut your sleeves off your shirt there. So I did.
You were
those.
so mad at me.
And then also I opened up a few more things for youth and then infants. So I did onesies. So even if you guys don't plan on buying like within the next 2 weeks, pop on and give me some feedback. You can inbox just me on my email or on Facebook and just let me know like something that you'd like to see. I have until about the beginning of May. And then that's when I will start ordering and designing. So
okay. So Carmen's asking, when does the swag store close then?
So with that being said, I only like to do it for 2 to 3 weeks just because of the fact that when I do that swag store, I check the inventory as of that day. Every Friday, I recheck the inventory to make sure what I have in the swag store is still available. If I push it out for 4 to 6 weeks, then I'd be contacting everybody saying, oh yeah, that windbreaker you bought 2 weeks ago is no longer available in that size. And then there's a whole bunch of like changing stuff. So my hopes is to close it May 1st.
Okay.
And then I will have everything ordered and start producing. And then once I know kind of like what everybody's likes were, that's kind of the stuff I'll stock under the tent with just a little bit of changes. So it's just a little bit different look.
Okay. So May 1st, get your stuff, get your orders in by May 1st. Mm-hmm. That's the deadline. Perfect.
Yep.
Oh, let's see here. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Any shout outs to any sponsors, past, present? Any
I
shout
mean,
outs to anybody that's, been a lifelong staff member? Anything like that?
I mean, let's see.
Dwayne
Every single
Dorholt.
one of our staff members, I mean, even Kevin and Tanya, like they met. My husband, they're our husbands knew each other, but Tanya and I met, I think, a month before the bog. We were doing a taco bar and they came for tacos. She never left. I'm telling you what, that one weekend, it seemed like they've been staffing there for years. But going way back, I mean, Wakefield's, Dwayne, Bill, our parents,
Grandpa Donnie.
Grandpa Don, Aaron, Tasha, all you guys are just like, you're a huge part of our bog. Our staff that we pretty much run ragged, definitely the entire weekend, but even the whole month of June, the weekends,
Right.
the late night calls and the late night bonfires. And I'm just saying, most of the time we supply beverages and the food. That's a little bit of an appreciation, but oh my gosh, you guys, like hearts and arms wide open for you because you really, really do help us pull through a great, great weekend yearly.
I'd like to give a shout out to like Sloan with High Octane Media
Yes.
for doing the coverage, helped us with our flyers this year. Another shout out to Built to Beat Race Series, kind of taking control of the, I guess, the Northern Minnesota Mud Racing Association. I guess it's not what it's called, but I mean, they kind of control that I guess the controlling interest in all the races around here, which I think is a great thing. It's a great crew to work with. Very professional, set up fast, so I get a big shout out to those guys. And they're a big family too. Same thing. Brothers, family, fathers, sons, they're all in there doing the exact same thing, which is going to be pretty awesome. So,
Right
I
on.
want to shout out to our food vendors too that come and,
Yeah.
even if it's hot or if it's last year when we had a Minnesota Friday night hurricane.
Right.
So we appreciate all you guys holding on and coming and just making our dreams bigger and better every year. So I just want to show you one thing. So when I started doing the sponsorship for BBD 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, my list was about this big.
Yep.
That was my sponsors. And I mean, we're talking 2 pages of mainly Itasca County, but I mean, all the way up to the cities, so thank you guys so much.
I know as an announcer, when we started the first year, when I had the microphone in my hand, I had a piece of paper in my hand. I got to say my name. I got to say a couple of part stores
Right.
in town.
Yep.
The core group that started sponsoring this thing. It wasn't a very big
Yep.
list. It really wasn't. Now I have a whiteboard over here, and it's got 2 columns and a half, and
Yeah.
and it takes all them people. It takes
Yeah.
those
It sure
sponsors. It takes the family that we have that we call staff. It takes the community. The community has to rally behind this too. They got to get their butts in the seats. I actually had a conversation with my dad last week, and he's going to bring my uncle because he's been bugging him. So we're going to see Uncle Buck out there this year. That's going to be pretty cool. He's 86 now.
Yeah.
So Dad's going to make sure he's going to drag him there for the race.
Yeah, and we are going to do the veteran senior discount again, so they'll get $10 off.
Right on.
But otherwise, 75 for the weekend, 30 for a day pass. ATV, UTV will continue to be $10. If you have a flag, bring it, because if you don't come with the flag, you will have to purchase one. And I think last year we did the flag in the pole, maybe 20. But if you have a flag, it doesn't matter if it's us, Mudfest, Mavericks, Howie's. As long as you have a flag and you're visible to the jacked up trucks, it's a safety key. Throw it on, you're good to go.
We do have the new
So-
4-wheeler pit from last year.
And
This
that-
year.
It's open all 3 days.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday does not shut down.
I was going
Right
to
on.
key on. I was over there today, and the water is flowing over the North Dam back to the lake already.
Nice.
That's how full it is. It's
The people that are watching from far and wide probably don't realize. I had a good friend of mine that he didn't make it to the mud bog last year, but he's been camping with us for a few years now. Junior messaged me and he's like, when can I get up to camp? And I said, hey bud, we're down to a foot of snow here now. And he's like, what? Yeah, Easter we had 3 feet. So we are losing snow rapidly. It is making mud. It's making water right now, but that's going to turn into mud.
Making water. Yeah.
So, I know Nate and I usually figure out a good time to go make water, get that pump going and watch her pump into the pit. All of this runoff helps us not have to do, put that extra gas in that pump, do all that stuff too. So that's awesome.
Yep.
Let's see here. Oh, we don't need that one. Mama says Tony loved the 4-wheeler pit. I think everybody loved the 4-wheeler pit. For one, it was a great safety feature for keeping the 4-wheelers separate from them great big trucks out in the same pit.
Yes.
That was a huge
Literally
deal.
so scary.
But more so, you guys decided to give these guys their own playground back in the corner where it's safe, it's good mud. They stirred it up really good last year. I know Septemberfest, there was stuff stuck in it pretty steady. That's just going to make it better for this year. That's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
And as long as them guys got their flag on them, by all means, they got their own road back there. Go play.
Yep.
For sure.
Right on.
Possibly going to be some more trees taken down to extend the 4-wheeler pit.
I can't imagine that
Septemberfest.
happening.
I think Septemberfest, there were some trees that got taken down with the skidder.
Couple.
So, we gotta get those ones skidded out of
The
the
wives
woods.
tried to drive, didn't we? I know I
Yeah.
tried to drive it.
Yeah.
I think Tanya tried to drive it.
Yeah. Me and Kevin
We may have crashed.
had a pretty good handle on removing some trees in Septemberfest. Pretty sure.
You were mad at them trees.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose, guys, I think we're probably over our half hour.
I think we're a little long.
Well,
so.
thanks for everybody who
Yeah.
joined in and hung with us. I do want to give a shout out to Topper and Wes. Every year
Absolutely.
you ride on our arms and in our hearts. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for coming on here. I don't know when I'm going to
Yeah,
run down your
thank you.
present, but I will run down with your
know.
present.
That
okay,
sounds good.
sounds good.
See you later.
Yeah,
Stay clean, getting dirty.
Nice. All right. So let me unplug that. I ran a little long on this one. Mud's one of my favorite things to do. We got the opportunity to do this more than once this year. I want to personally say thank you to Ty for inviting us out so we can cover his race. Something you guys might not know, or you might if you looked at the schedule. We're also going to be at Mudfest this year, at least for the drag race. So shout out to Jake there. Absolutely love the fact that he reached out to Sloan and told us that he would gladly have us there to cover that too. Benson Bog Days, that's one that's near and dear to my heart. That's something that, like I said, I was involved in it when it was tapping kegs and raising a little heck when we were just kids, and that was a bit ago. UMMRA, those guys with their straight line mud drags. I've had the opportunity to be on the pit crew for a straight line mud drag racer. That was a blast. I got to meet all them guys, and I love them guys too. They're a great crew. What I bring to the table with this, I hope I do, is like I've been saying. It takes a village. It takes a village to run that mud crew. Takes a village for all you guys that are out there, having derby events, having the Bajas, doing autocross, everything you guys do. We're all the same. We're literally all the same people. If you haven't been to a mud event yet, and you're a derby guy, you don't have, when you got the free time, any of these guys that we talk to, they're all great people. They all have events all year, and you'll be really surprised how much you're just like them. In the same aspect, all the mud guys that are watching for this mud episode, if you haven't been to a derby in a while, I hadn't been to a derby in like quite a while, except for a couple of them that I did when I was wrecking old stuff. But I got into it last year. I met a great community of people, and we're all the same. It's the same across the board. The thing that we're doing here with High Octane is we're trying to shine a spotlight on motorsports in Minnesota. The stuff that you guys can go watch, the stuff you could get involved in, whether it be a derby, no matter what event it is. There's something for every one of us rednecks to go out there and do, to go out and watch. And we love the opportunity that we've had to film it, to take the pictures, to meet the people. And it takes all of us to work together, to grow together, to continue to do this stuff. With that being said, thanks for watching, guys. And remember, it's all about the experience.